So these are the three matches we've already had here on court 1, and now into the fourth match of the day. Beiwen Zhang is playing Chen in the women's singles. Player from the United States has had a very nice 2023. And we're going to already see the path here for either Zhang or Chen. The winner will play Aya Ohori of Japan in the second round. So our players already on court. They've met 5 times. Chen Yufei has won 4 of them, but it was actually Beiwen Zhang who won the last meeting very recently in the Japan Open in a pretty tight affair. That's just an indication of where she is at the moment. She's won 35 of her 50 matches this year, 70% or so. Chen Yufei has won 34 of her 43. About 80% of her matches, so she's had a pretty decent year as well. Beiwen Zhang has reached the finals of the Chinese Taipei Open. Won the Australian Open recently. Got to the final of the Orléans Masters. A couple of quarterfinals in the India Open and the Spain Masters, a semi-final at the Swiss Open. I think she's attributed that to having a trainer now. A little bit more resources at hand for her. And as Steve and I mentioned earlier, you'd obviously opt for more of that if you could. Beiwen Zhang, now 33 years of age, from Liaoning, China originally, played for Singapore for a bit, and then for the United States. Currently 10th in the world. She's not far away from her very best, which was 9th, and that was achieved in June of 2017. One of her crowning achievements was former Pan Am champion in 2021 as a singles player, and on the World Tour she's won the India Open in 2018, as I mentioned, the Australian Open just recently, last month. Chen Yufei, 25, from Zhejiang, currently 3rd in the world, is a former world number 1. And this year she's won the Indonesia Open, got to the final of the All England, of course, a couple of semi-finals at the World Champs, Malaysia Open, German Open and Korea Open.
Ready to play.
Chen Liao of Malaysia is our umpire. David Graf von Schwerin is the Austrian service judge. How do you see this one panning out, Steve?
Yeah, interesting to see if Chen Yufei can get revenge from her last defeat.
And on my left, Zhang Beiwen, USA. Chen Yufei to serve. Love all. Play. Service over.
I remember yesterday when we had a kind of a similar pattern in the game, in the matches. We had a very long third one, didn't we? Between Ng Taeyong and Pranoy. where the conditions certainly played a part. And then we had a women's singles match after that, Zhang Yuman and Busanan Ongbangupan, a very different sort of approach, because the players have different sort of styles, don't they?
Yeah, and Busanan was slightly injured.
Yes. And
that's interesting because the strapping on the left knee of Zhang Beiwen is not normally there. We saw her attack from the backhand corner and not really try to follow up. So that could be a little weakness in her game, but she won her first victory over Chen in Japan Open, and that came as a big surprise to me, because I feel that in terms of the skills, technical skills, Chen is the better of the two, but she simply couldn't follow pace, the Olympic champion. And that's interesting to see how the shape is today. She had extreme problems in Japan on the front court. Good shot. That was exactly where she was struggling in Japan. Chen Yufei.
Along with that Olympic gold, she's silver at the World Champs last year, and preceding that, of course, a bronze this year. 2 other bronzes, 2017 and 2018.
In 2.5 weeks' time, there's going to be a lot of expectations on her shoulders, and it's going to be in her
backyard, right?
It's going to be the city where she's born. Yep. She's born in Hangzhou. And they're going to play the team tournament, where she's the skipper of the Chinese team.
Last time out, they got the silver in the team events, and the expectations are massive on that one, as you say.
Yeah, and there's competition from especially Korea. In the women's team event, I think
11 titles to her name, Chen Yufei.
Service over. 3-6.
Zhang with a very good start here.
Players lost to the world champion An Se-young in Copenhagen 10 days ago. They went in the 3rd round, and Chen Yufei in the semi-final, and the scoreline was pretty similar, 21-19 in the first game for both of them, and then Beiwen scored 13 in the second, Chen Yufei 15, so not a whole lot to read from that.
Service over. 5-7.
150 matches in the opening round of tournaments. She's won 106 of them, including her last 4. Beiwen Zhang, and lost to Kirsty Gilmore in the Indonesia Open. That was her last defeat in the opening round. This, though, will be her biggest test in quite some time. Chen Yufei is looking to roar back here.
6-8.
She's got a remarkable record in opening rounds. 7-2-3 wins in 81 matches. She hasn't lost in the opening round since Indonesia Masters in 2020. She lost to your compatriots.
7, 8.
Kiersfeldt.
Over 9-8.
Yeah, she's now on a roll, Chen Yufei.
Service over 9-4. Can you show?
Mop
Back to the mops.
on Zhang Beiwen's side. I think she's come back really well from rupturing her Achilles at the Olympic Games. Zhang Beiwen, especially that win in Australia Open, was impressive.
The first time in many, many years since she won that title. A long 5-year wait for her. It's just not easy, is it, Steen? If you're in Zhang's position, you're from the continent where you're not getting that kind of support. You've got to kind of basically, a lot of it is self-funded, isn't it?
Yeah, but I mean, it sounds like
successful, one challenge remaining.
there's a lot of support
Service over
in other countries, and I think there are in some, but there's also, I mean, if you look at it that way, the Danes, they get free practice, but in all effect, they are pretty much self-funded. The support they get for traveling to tournaments, that's rather quickly spent. So they're pretty much self-funded as well.
So going into the interval, Zhang is just in front here against Chen Yufei, 11-10.
既然敢推后场，对，推后你一定要保护，对出一些吊杀，这样嘛，他超出了区域，然后你的吊杀是往前嘛，不要去，你可能是单元，单元举手抓推把平，这边好对象。现在其实你要反应跟他打多比较，因为他是打时间的，他就是说你的球一过去，他第一时间就出来了，知道吗？所以你的节奏一定要快。
11-10 play.
Justine, have the conditions had a mark on this game so far for you, as opposed to what we saw in the previous match?
The thing is that it can be a little bit different for the women's singles, depending on the shuttle speed and how severe the drift is. But here, sometimes it can be a challenge for the player playing up against the drift to get enough length on her shots, and it helps the player on the near side penetrate a little bit more in terms of attacking. So it can be the opposite side that is the better side in women's single, and it also depends on the player's skills and playing style. So far, Chen Yufei has controlled the lengthways drift well, and learning from yesterday, we've got to evaluate that all the time, whether it's still the same. But it's also a little bit easier to play a bit more defensive and rally playing.
11.
Chen Yufei in front.
Look at this, look at her legs there. Again, just like we saw with Li Shufeng, this time it was the right leg that slipped for Zhang Beiwen.
3 quick points for Chen Yufei since the interval.
Whereas in the men's singles, if you are a little bit passive to the opponent's backcourt, there's going to be attack coming at you. That's not necessarily so in the women's singles. Let's say Chen Yufei plays the backcourt of Zhang Beiwen with a high, little bit passive shot. It's not necessarily that Beiwen is going in attacking on that shot and sort of exploiting it.
First point since the interval for Zhang Beiwen.
Yeah. That's a situation where I feel Chen Yufei was a little bit too far behind the shuttle. It doesn't really reach her. So that means your racket travels a bit further and takes the shot into the net. Where Chen Yufei's feet are lacking a little bit of length. Zhang Beiwen. That was better.
Service over. 15-12.
I think she's got a great shot at the Olympic medal again, Olympic gold. Chen Yufei.
Yeah, there's a chance, but there's a certain Korean women's singles player who might want her say on that as well, and also we respect Kanye Yamaguchi to be in the mix.
12.
Perhaps even Carolina Marin.
Ah.
Chen Yufei's feet were not touching the first of the tram lines there, and that's a sign that
13-16.
Beiwen is playing a little bit too short.
Couple of useful points here for Beiwen Zhang.
14-16.
Disguised most of
Service over.
shots from that
17,
position is
14.
straight if you take an average overall. Women's singles players in the tournament, I would expect. So well done, Chen Yufei, to get across.
Well, Beiwen Zhang has
Service over.
not had too many successes against players from China. Just 2 wins in 16 matches prior to today. She's trailing here against Chen Yufei, but only by 1.
Is that
16, 17.
this year or
Overall.
she must have played many more Chinese players?
Sorry, that's in the first round, I should say.
Okay.
Let me give you the overall. 11 wins out of 46 matches against Chinese players. Oh, done well there. She did well to get to the penultimate shot.
Service over, 18, 16. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, it was very much Chen Yufei straight after the interval. But Zhang has come back quite nicely.
That's well played. Moving Chen Yufei on the diagonal and
Service over, 17,
nicely put away.
18.
Well, the last 10, she has beaten Chinese players twice in the last 10 matches, and that includes beating Chen Yufei, as we spoke about, and also Wang Ziyi. So she's clearly got the ability. Trailing by 1 here.
That's a good rally, important rally. Oi, fantastic play here. Two ladies. She did well to get to that one, Zhang Beiwen.
17.
Chen Yufei super alert on the front court.
有机会果断，来举手啊！
Yeah, she can't seem to go beyond the 2-point mark, Chen Yufei. Keeps getting pegged back.
Great chance for Beiwen to steal the first game. With that shot. Yesterday was a little bit of a sideways drift.
Yeah, you did mention that.
Right to left. It's not been really noticeable, but might be a tiny little bit.
2 game points here for Chen Yufei. And she wraps it up. It's Chen Yufei who takes the first game. Beiwen Zhang
First game won by
Actually,
Chen Yufei.
controlled large parts of it.
18.
Certainly up to the interval. A very good post-interval performance from Chen Yufei. She wins it 21-18. So Chen Yufei taking that first game, and as I discussed with Steen earlier, the conditions that we saw having a large influence on that previous match, not necessarily having the same kind of influence in this one.
Yeah, it's some influence, but not in the same way, because they don't rely that much on attacking.
That the speed, right?
Yeah.
Hold 1, 20 seconds.
So much more important to get the right length on your shots from the far side of the court where you're playing up against the drift.
Second game, low ball, play. Service over, 1 long.
Just a tad too long. Well, wide there from Beiwen Zhang.
1-0.
Good shot.
We talked in that previous match as well, Steve, didn't we, about players choosing to want or not want coaches. In Zhang's case, it's probably more necessity and cost, right?
Yeah, I think so. Challenge challenged, yeah, was called in. Yeah, it's when you're sort of independent, more or less, or self-funded. You have to pay yourself for a coach traveling with you. You've got to figure out. You've got to do the maths. Say, okay, how many matches is the coach helping me to win that I would have lost otherwise, and how many matches is still the same outcome whether I have a coach with me or not.
It really comes down to this,
So,
doesn't it?
yeah, does it pay off?
Yeah.
And what coaches are available to travel,
Right.
and are available to travel at odd weeks. So like you have like let's say you have like 13 weeks where you can travel, and what about the rest of the weeks? What are you doing there? So we're a lot closer to a tennis-like system that we dreamed of, the coaches and the players when I was coaching. We dreamed of having this tennis-like system, and we're a lot closer to it, but we're not there yet.
Right.
Which tournament is a good start, increasing the prize money to $2 million.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, the winners take over 140,000, Steve. That's impressive, isn't it?
For badminton, it is.
Which, just going back to the earlier point about the coaching, which makes the achievements of Zhang and, say, Michelle Lee getting into the top 10, 15 or so in rankings without a regular coach pretty impressive, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, they've had coaches in their when they're practicing back home, at least. Michelle Lee got in Canada. I'm not sure exactly how the setup is in Las Vegas, where Zhang Beiwen is based. I suppose this coach has been there actually in the Las Vegas badminton hall, but she's been brought up in China and Singapore, where there were coaches. So even if, let's say, the Chinese players, if they traveled to a tournament without a coach, they wouldn't stop playing badminton. They would still have the skills.
Sure.
And again, making that that calculation, saying how many matches per year is it where the coach makes the difference. Yeah. Right. We talked about it with Cho.
Yeah.
And I think when you become this strong as Zhang is and Cho and so on, then there can be more matches, because you're most likely more capable of utilizing the advice that you get if you find the right coach.
If you have the right, Oh, beautifully done from
往前还是要
Chen
跑上
Yufei.
去啊，付出啊。
So nice 5-point lead here.
And she's not really getting the initiative from the opening of the rallies, Zhang Beiwen. Now she's starting. Small deception from Chen Yufei. That's great play if it stays in. It does.
Oh, it's all going quite nicely for Chen Yufei at the moment. A very nice 7-point lead that Chen Yufei has.
看看啊，
She looks a bit exasperated here, Zhang. And we head into the interval of the second game with Chen Yufei very comfortable, 8 points ahead of her opponent, and having taken that first game. What does Zhang need to do here?
She needs to play the service situation better. She needs to take some kind of initiative, get Chen Yufei off balance from the go, and it's not working for her. Trying to put pressure on the backcourt that's difficult, because then the drift comes into play.
Yeah, this is litany of mistakes at the moment for her.
Yeah.
Ten points. Make that 11 on the trot now.
Yeah.
It was 3-all not too long ago.
Right as well.
Nothing is going right, Steve.
No.
And sometimes you get into that kind of funk and you can't get out of it.
Yeah. And suddenly everything slips away from you,
yeah.
and this game most likely has.
73.
Yeah, this has gone horribly wrong for her, I'm afraid.
This time it stays in.
Finally.
Service over.
That is
4-17.
one of the longest streaks I think I've seen in a long time. 14 points in a row.
Yeah. At this level, that's a lot. Stays in as well. She's had extremely good length, Chen Yufei.
Service over. 18-4.
Just a solitary point there. Everything's going right, everything's falling the way of Chen Yufei.
4.
suddenly all went wrong for her. Zhang. Even that. That's a whopping 16 match points for Chen Yufei. Finally one goes the right way for Zhang, but it is merely delaying the inevitable. Well, a bizarre ending really to this match, which was such a close one in the first game, and then it swung wildly in favour of Chen Yufei, who put on a 14-point run in the midst of all that in the second game, and she's won this comfortably in the end. Chen Yufei marches on, and well, we were talking about what a good year it's been for Beiwen Zhang, but her China Open comes to an early conclusion. Very almost tame response at the end for the American. Chen Yufei, the third seed from China, beats Beiwen Zhang of the United States 21-18, 21-5, and it's happened in half an hour.